Hi and welcome to Orbit. There it is, the fourth generation of the Insta360, the X4. And at first glance you may think not a lot has changed, but oh boy, quite a lot has changed. I would even say this is the biggest upgrade ever, with an 80% higher resolution, 70% longer battery life and many new features. This video was sponsored by Insta360. I was able to test the camera before the market launch and I tried my best to pack as many cool shots into this video as possible so you can judge the quality for yourself. But first things first. To ensure that the Insta360 X4 can record in absolutely any direction, it has two cameras, one on each side. Each of these cameras has a 48 megapixel sensor. This is comparable to current smartphones. And through complex software and a bit of magic, the two individual cameras become one single 360-degree video sphere. The camera itself is then invisible. Even the selfie stick is invisible. You can't really see it. Just kidding. This is what it looks like. It's full metal and it's ultra high quality. The X4 can take a maximum of 72 megapixel photos and now 8K videos. This is the first resolution increase since the first Insta360 One X. But I will say more about the image quality in just a moment. The housing of the X4 is slightly larger and extremely robust, with rubber all over it, and it can survive in extreme environments. It is waterproof for 10 meters and even 50 meters with a special case, perfect for diving. There are many accessories. I think the new lens protector that can be easily attached is genius, and there's also a premium one that is more scratch resistant. You can also buy a metal cage with additional tripod threads. The Insta360 X4 has a larger display than its predecessor. It's 2.5 inch. It is sharp, bright, and not only can you see the image, but also absolutely everything can be controlled here. Which mode you are in, what resolution you are shooting in, how the exposure is set, and you can view your old shots and so much more. And that's pretty much everything you need to know, because it's very simple to record with this camera. You just hit record and it starts recording in every direction. The Insta360 X4 can record in a higher resolution and with more frame rates per second than its predecessor. A maximum of 8K with 30 FPS or 5.7K in 60 frames, which is twice as much as previously possible, and 4K at 100 frames per second for slow motion video. In direct comparison, the difference is like night and day. The picture is much sharper, more colorful and simply cleaner. It's a big upgrade. You have to remember that you never see the full 8K resolution, but only a selection of it, which is why it's so important to have such a high resolution. The flow state video stabilization is also remarkably good. The camera is about 1 meter away from the bike and the bike is inside of a forest on uneven terrain, but you can still get a pleasantly smooth shot. Even the horizon locks onto you, so you don't even need to think about that. 360-degree video is very flexible. You can either watch it directly in 360 degrees, then you don't have to pay attention to anything. And whether it's on a computer, smartphone or in VR glasses, the viewer can decide where to look and has the feeling of being there for themselves. I think that's very cool for something like a concert. But what I like the best about 360-degree video is that you can decide after the fact what do you want to see. Robin riding his gravel bike or the track in front of him. And you can do it in portrait or the landscape format or even in a square. And you can have a relatively normal, narrow field of view or a super wide angle. And because the camera and the selfie stick are both invisible, it looks like the camera is flying. With 360 video, you can create a tiny planet effect, which I think is very funny depending on the situation. In general, there are lots of funny angles you can get. Here's one where you can see what I see and then the other side. Yeah, let's call it nose cam. Not only video is recorded in 360 degrees, but also the sound. And you can perfectly identify where sounds are coming from. And the X4 also is quite good in strong wind. There is an app for the computer and smartphone where you can easily import your recordings and then get creative. I was surprised to see how well it can track a person inside of a frame. The smartphone app is quite intuitive. You can choose the perspective or the field of view or the aspect ratio, and you can track a person. All of the new features and the high resolution is possible because of a new processor. It's built in 5 nanometers, so it's very modern and it's quite strong and efficient too. The battery is larger and the runtime way better. A maximum of 135 minutes in 5.7K with 60 FPS. That's almost an hour longer than the predecessor. And therefore, Robin could ride his bike for 1 hour with a time shift and at the end of the trip still had enough battery to record the whole trip. The new chip also improves the speech and gesture control. When you make a peace sign, you will take a picture. The Wi-Fi is also 60% faster and the USB-C port is now 3.0. I do have some smaller criticism. First, it is better than before, but you can still see some stitch marks where both cameras overlap. Second, when you are in low light environments, the footage can be grainy, so keep that in mind. Third, you can't share videos that you recorded in 360 right away. You have to go through the app first, but the app is very easy and fast, so that's not a huge problem actually. And you can choose to use the selfie perspective. That is very easy, you can share it right away, or the single lens mode, it's like a traditional action camera. So where do you actually use a 360 camera in the real world? I would say at places where stuff is happening in every direction. My pal Martin von TechAltar loves it to dive and he's always recording it with the Insta360. And he captured some great moments with it. And while he's recording, there's no need to think about the camera because it is capturing everything, so he can be in the moment. I use my Insta360 to record behind the scenes and at very tight places. It's just great that it is so small that it can fit in every pocket. And even for professional use cases, 360 is a solution. Robin from the gravel bike is a CGI artist and he worked on many TV and movie projects. And he's using a 360 camera to capture authentic reflections at a set. And many YouTubers are using 360 video as an additional perspective, and I think it's very funny. Here's my conclusion. I think this is the biggest upgrade ever. It has way better image quality and that's very nice for VR headsets or when you're using it for reframing. There's the longer battery life, the new lens protection, the easy software. It's just a great package. It's 559 euros, so it's a little bit more expensive, but show me a better quality camera with a cheaper price. I don't think there is one. So if you're doing a nice sport which is quite visual, or if you are on the outside a lot or traveling, or if you are a social media content creator, I think you can give this thing a shot. This is it for my video. I hope this video was helpful and I will see you in the next one. Bye.